Welcome to First Things First. I'm Maddie Mills. My pronouns are he and him.
I'm Brooke Blurton and my pronouns are she and her.
And before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we record. And today, that's the Gadigal People of the Eora Nation.
And for me, it's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Let's get
into it. Well, this is super exciting because other than just Brooke and I today on the pod, we have the incredibly talented country music singer Loren Ryan.
Snaps.
Yes, snaps.
Welcome, yes. Loren. Oh my God, this has been a long time coming. We've wanted to have you for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I love the both of you together. It's really a joy to, listen to and watch on social media all of the highlights and then, deep dive into the podcasts. And I'm really proud of both of you.
Oh,
and
my God.
That I can be here is deadly.
Oh, well, we love you so much. Obviously, us three are, well aware of who we are. And, we've had moments where we've hung out all together and it's just been like, firecrackers. The energy is unreal. So I'm super excited that you're in studio with us on our podcast. But also, we're super proud of you. I feel like there has been, such an incredible trajectory to your career this year that we can get into and talk about because, you've hustled and you've put in the work for, over a decade. You've really, you've been grinding the gears in the background and also doing the country music circuit for years. But then you had a shift from singing R&B and soul back in the day and always being Beyonce's number one fan, other than me, to then moving into country.
Yes.
What inspired you to make that shift?
My hometown really inspired me to make that shift. I come from Tamworth, born and raised, out on Gomeroi Country, and, I'm surrounded by country music. And, when you're raised around mob and the music that they listen to, it's just country music all the time. You
Yeah,
drive
they
around
love
any black community on a Friday night and you hear country music. So
Neon Moon.
It's so nostalgic as well. Like, it's not just like the love of country music. I feel like there's a sentiment behind it as well. Like, we interviewed Troy Casadele. He actually spoke so highly of you, Loren.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was.
We got the cutout version. Don't worry, I'll give it to you. I'll show you.
It was such a growing up with Troy Casadele in your ears, in your household, and then being able to interview him was like such a little full circle moment for me as little Brooke, and then hearing how inspired he is by younger artists coming through and their talent, which was including yourself. It's like it's such a it's so beautiful and wonderful to see that carry that generation carry on of inspiration and aspiration and influence as well. Your song Suddenly actually, I don't know how I found it or how it came about, but it just takes me back to knowing where you've come from to where you're going. I don't know. And I don't know. And I've incorporated it into a theatre play that I'm writing in my head.
Yeah.
And, maybe this will come to full fruition one day and I'd love to use this song, but that's crazy how all of these worlds collide. And I think music is just such a powerful way. Did you always know that you were going to go into music, or was it something that you just you were always drawn to, or what's that relationship and how did it start?
Yeah, I've always loved music and I grew up just surrounded by music. It was always on in my house. My sisters sang, my mum sang all the time.
Beautiful.
And I felt like it was something that I was just destined to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never been so excited by anything else. Just music. And
you weren't a sporty gal?
No.
You're like, music is my thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm unfortunately very uncoordinated. Dancing's great. If that was some kind of sport, maybe.
Twirling around.
But
sorry, we can dance. Remember when we all got together? We were dancing in the kitchen. Yeah.
Yes.
So
that was fun.
Well, dancing is a sport, isn't it?
Well, it makes you sweat. So whatever makes you sweat, I'm counting as a sport.
Whatever is good cardio. Yeah.
I dance like it's a sport.
Oh,
so yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well,
I love that.
I want to go back to like when I first heard you sing, because I feel like you probably don't even know this, but Loren came to my school at Peel High and she sang in front of the school. And I don't know what it was, like what song it was. It might have even been the national anthem back in the day. Who knows? But you sang this.
But she slayed it.
She slayed it. She absolutely did, because I walked out of there feeling like I was Simon Cowell X Factor, pressing my red button, going, yes, absolutely. But I remember thinking,
you deserve a golden buzzer.
Yeah, golden buzzer, that's it. I remember just thinking, like, this girl has it. Like, she has exactly what is needed to, like, you know, make it in the industry. And, you know, you're finally having your moment. When you think about how long, you know, it's taken for you to get to this point, how much work, you know, in one of your songs you say you paid your dues. You fucking absolutely have. So it's like, what does it feel like to now reflect on, you know, all this work, all this, you know, effort that you've put in, and now you're sitting in this moment where it's like you're having your moment and people are starting to fully hear you around the country, you know?
Oh, it feels incredible. And I can't believe you remember that gig.
Yeah.
I sang at a lot of schools and that was, you know, really where I first started out. And to, you know, have that journey from then to now and have a moment that I've been able to kind of create for myself, because people look at it from the outside and think, oh, it's magical, but you've worked so hard and you plan things so far in advance, you know, 2-3 years sometimes, and you've got all your releases planned and the looks for the releases and the color scheme for the releases and the video clips, and it's just, there's so much goes into it. And I feel like it's incredible, and I feel so empowered to be able to say what I want to say and make the music I want to make. And I also feel like it's a constant uncomfortable feeling, that growth.
What do they say? You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think in this industry, because it's not with, I guess, music and any creative industry, it's not always like a smooth journey. It's like constantly like 2 steps forward or 4 steps back. Like, you know, it's kind of always like back and forth, or the gigs, they all sort of work together to elevate where you're going, if not inspire you more. What is your biggest inspiration? Like, obviously you're so, you know, country music, family, community, culture. What is your biggest inspiration for doing this and being in this industry?
Oh, for sure. My biggest inspiration, I would say, is my daughter, and my culture and my mob. And I've always wanted to make the people around me proud, the people who've helped me, the people who have dedicated time and energy toward me, you know, reaching certain goals and achievements in my life.
How old is your daughter?
My baby is 6 years old.
Wow.
6 years old. She just started kindergarten. And,
Charlie?
Charlie,
Oh,
yep, that's
I love
it.
that name.
Yeah.
She suits that name very well. She's a little cheeky Charlie.
Charlie's Angels.
Yes. Forever in my Beyonce Destiny's Child era.
Exactly.
But I feel like, you know, both of you are so ambitious. I've known Maddie for so long, and to, you know, do the things that you've done within your career and lift your own platform has been incredible. And Brooke, I know you're highly ambitious as well, and the things that you do, you execute everything that you do with such like beauty and grace. And
thank you.
She's
amazing. She wasn't yesterday, I can tell you that. I was horizontal and looking like a homeless person. This is all smoke and mirrors, baby. No.
I thought it was going completely.
Let him drink the Kool-Aid. Let him drink the Kool-Aid.
No, she hyping us up. We're meant to be hyping you up. It's so beautiful because Maddie and I talk about how. Sorry, Maddie, I didn't want to cut you off. How we have this feeling that we have been on this planet together before or something, where we've met and we have this weird, like, we think the same, we say the same thing, and we've met, or like we're siblings that got lost in translation or something. And I've generally felt the same, similar connection to you and your music as well. Like, I feel like I don't know if it's culture or if it's community or if it's mob or whatever. It's like this knowing of like you just know each other without knowing each other, if that makes sense. And I think that's the beauty of your music as well. Like, it's so relatable, and it's so it just takes me back. It's actually so nostalgic as well.
Well,
you know?
Brooke, let me tell you something, because the song that we're here to talk about, which is Hoedown, is going to be so relatable to you. You're going to fucking be blaring this song. You're going to have it on repeat.
Is it the hoe part or the down part? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, girl, it's both. I just know that you in the chimney driving down, you know, the streets in Melbourne are going to be cranking this song. It's called Hoedown. It is out on July
5th.
Oh my God, only a couple of days. Okay, so this is exciting.
Yes. So July 5th is Hoedown. Tell the listeners, what is this song about, and what bitch's neck are you coming for?
I was like, where are you going with that? I was like, what? Okay, yes, please. I need to know more about this song. I haven't heard it, obviously, and I'm so excited.
Hoedown, we want to dance, but Hoedown also we want to like slap.
Yeah.
Hoedown.
You know what? I'll be slapping all them hoes.
It is so good,
Starting
guys.
with Maddie. Nah.
Everyone has been like, who is this song about as well?
Oh, I love it.
And there's a lyric in it, you know, if the boot fits.
Ooh, yeah. If the shoe fits, there you go.
I'm not calling you a bitch, but if the boot fits.
Yeah.
Those are some lyrics in the song. And I feel like the boot is really fitting for some people, and they would know.
I am living.
They would know.
I am living for this.
I kind of live for that type of drama through music, where it's like, you know, even just with other artists, like in the industry, you're always like, I know who that song. You know, like Taylor Swift is one of those examples. Like, she sings about, you know, all of her past breakups and stuff like that. Beyonce, you know, with Lemonade, like that was like that was a slap. I was
this is giving Lemonade. This is giving, you know, it's giving baseball bat down the street in a yellow dress.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I
love. That's fine. Okay.
But Hoedown, the writing process, the new sound, the avenue that you're going down is exciting. It's brand new. This country hasn't really heard this elevation of country music, I would say, to this point. It's a different angle for this country. So how do you feel like it's going to be received?
Oh, yeah, I definitely would say that. It's a new sound. It's carving out a new sound for Australian country music. I think it's going to be received well. I think Australia is, you know, ready for this sound. The country music industry is quite small, but the fan base is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Well, we've seen that grow so much. Like Morgan Wallen,
Luke Combs.
Like, you know, we were always into Luke, but like he's come real, and you know,
Tanner, Adele.
Yeah, like, and then obviously Beyonce is also gone back to her roots, which, you know, it's such a perfect time. Like, is this not perfect? Yeah. Do you think like the world works in such a way that you're like, yeah, this is it?
It's you know, it's so funny. It feels like the world has like created this moment for you. Yeah. Like, you're such a Beyonce fan.
Like, we're ready for you, Loren. Like, we're ready for you now.
The world
now
has
is
gone,
your time.
Okay. Beyonce's going to make country, you know,
cool again.
And now it's time for Loren to inject herself to the masses.
Well, it was always cool for us, Mob. Like, you know, we love, you know, Troy Casadeli says, you know, we love a love story, you know, or like a heartbroken. The more heartbroken the cowboy is, the better. But you know, I'm always like, well, the more stronger the cowgirl is, then.
Yes.
Can I get a
this
yeehaw?
Is exactly it. Yeah. And I love Beyonce stepping into this world, and I feel like that's a massive help. And a big part of the reason I wrote this song is because I was going through lots of racism, and in this, you know, small industry, you can't afford to burn bridges or be the angry black woman, or, you know, come back too strong on certain things. And I've had like public humiliation and private apologies, and I just feel like those don't match up. And
Can you write those lyrics down into your phone, please? Public humiliation and private apologies, they don't match. Okay, great. There it is.
That's a lyric.
That's a lyric.
I was after there was an instance where I was publicly humiliated, and
by who? Because I'll go bash them right now.
It was in a room full of about 100 influencers, and so they were all shocked, and there were whispers all around the room, and this certain person really humiliated not only me but all of the Gomeroi people, and it was very racist. And I went to leave the room, and they called me out and sort of said, "Oh, where are you going? I was just about to say something really nice about you." And so I had to then stand in the room for even longer while they
Continued
to find something nice to say about me after they'd just really insulted me. So there's a lot of different things. There's been people ask me like how black I want to be for certain things within the country realm, and it's wild. It's wild. There have been people who didn't want me to speak at certain things because they didn't want me to say anything about like black fellas. And so I feel like hoedown is a combination of all of those those things.
It's there's a frustration there, right?
Yeah.
There's like the thing is, you know your worth. You know what you have to offer, and people trying to curate your sense of identity within the industry is a really tough thing to come up against, because Brooke and I get it all the time, you know, like even with this platform, it can be hard to have an authentic voice on this channel, not because of our team, but because of what people expect from us, you know, and I think that the industry is shifting, but the country music industry and that part of the industry, that corner, is still way behind, you know.
Yeah, at points it is. But also in saying that, with Beyonce stepping into the country world and lifting artists like Tanner Adele and Shabuzi, who's got like the #1 song in Australia right now with a remix of a very hip hop song. Those people are accepted and received so well, and I feel like hoedown could be received really well also, but then there are some people who just block because they're racist, and
they'll control alt delete because they want to log off from being accountable and looking at themselves, you know. So like I see that in the industry a lot, you know, you put something out there or you do something, the people who don't want to interact with it, it's a lot of the time because self-reflection, they're not strong enough to go there within themselves. So it's like, you know, you're gonna get that. But I'm excited for the masses to hear it. I'm excited for this song to be like, I really feel like this song is a great radio hit. I think that people will, you know, enjoy it while they're in their car and it emotes a feeling, you know, of empowerment.
I definitely want it to give that for people to step into their own power, the way I've stepped into mine on this song, and just really tell people how it is and stand up for yourself. And in all those moments that I just described, I felt like I didn't stand up for myself, and now I'm just like fed up. It's enough.
Well, hoedown has been, you know, will be birthed very soon. It's, you know, it's
you're all welcome to the labour.
Front row seats.
But this is your first single post Star Maker, so it's a bit of a different sound to Homecoming. It's more, I feel like more, you know, in your bag, as you say, or in the vein of who you are and what you want to say. What does the rest of this era look like? Is it down this same avenue? Are we going down authentic voice, fuck you era? This is how I really feel. Are they the vibes?
Oh yeah, there's definitely more. I feel like it's the Bounce Back Hoedown series. And there are more to follow that. It feels like this kind of outlaw dancing on the outskirts of, you know, what might be considered appropriate to say on songs or things like that. It's going to be really clever. It's going to be have a lot of inspiration from like rap. It could have rappers featured that I'd love to bring into the country space and start doing that. I don't think we've had a rapper feature on a country song. I know Briggs did
Shadows on the Hill.
Yeah, Shadows on the Hill with Uncle Troy, which I loved. But I'd love to do a release of my own with a rapper. One in particular comes to mind. The baddest female rapper. In Australia.
Yes.
Can I ask, like, who do you dream of working with, like, in the industry? Like, what is maybe your top 3?
Oh, I dream of working with Tanner Adele,
Yeah.
who's just featured on the Cowboy
I'm
Carter
a buckle
record.
bunny.
She's a
I
buckle
love
bunny.
that.
I'm a buckle bunny.
Yes.
I'm a fake cowgirl, apparently. But yeah, I'm there too.
Yeah.
Definitely Tanner Adele, and then Barker, who I
Yeah.
absolutely love. I'd love to work with Barker. I'd love to work with Budra.
Oh, Butcher is stunning. We've seen him like
Can you mob do like ballad soaring vocals vibes? Because like as much as I love the idea of you doing a fuck you song with Barker, like that is like 100% the on repeat for me. I also want to hear your voice with Budra. You
Yeah.
know? Like you've got such a beautiful range and such a beautiful tone that you guys together.
I wish
He's
I could
phenomenal.
sing. I'm so jealous.
Same. sis.
we,
Like,
we say the same. We're
I
like-
think I feel
It'd be
like
all
I
over for
I can
you.
hold a tune, but I just can't. Like I'm just not the singer.
Actually,
But-
can I ask him some advice
Yeah.
around singing, Loren? Because you're such a beautiful artist. So someone who is in their like new music era, what advice would you give them starting out? Yeah. Or what would you even give your younger Loren? What would you say to her now?
I would say, you know, each and every aspiring First Nations artist is on the radar. Don't ever count yourself off the radar. You're all special.
See, Maddie,
you all
it's time
have
for you.
something to say and something to give. So I would just say, you know, figure out. Everyone says this. Figure out what makes you special. I would say figure out what makes you feel something, and run with that, and what showcases you the best.
Your like your authentic voice, like not what you should sound like because someone else sounds like. Finding your genuine voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely say that.
You might be a yodeler.
Yeah. I'm finding my genuine voice, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I might be a belter. I know. When my friends are like musicians, I like love that they can just get on the guitar, get on the piano, and it's just music brings everyone together. Like, come on, it's just the best.
Yeah.
Who was the person that you looked at and was like, they taught you to give permission to yourself?
For me, it's my daughter.
Yeah.
She's completely opposite to me. She's an extrovert. She has no shame. None. No shame.
We need to get rid of that word. I'm over it. I'm over it. Fuck shame.
Sometimes I look at her and think, how are you like this? Just brave and outgoing and so confident. So confident. And I think if she can do that at the age of 6 years old, me at the age of a little older than 6 years old, I can do that as well.
Yes, exactly. We draw inspiration from our children and our inner self and our child. You probably see yourself so much in her, even though, you know, you guys are opposites. You're like, oh my God, yeah. Like that's the best part of it, right?
She's your courage.
Yeah.
She is. She is my
part of
courage.
you. She is you.
I feel like her personality is what my personality is behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But she's brave enough to bring that out,
it
and
out.
mine stays locked away.
Yeah. But that's the shame. That's what we need to eliminate. I think we're learning as adults, and especially in this journey that we're in societies, that inherently we've inherited this shame, and you know, we've named it intergenerational trauma, but it is that. Of course it's that. But there's shame, like there's this cloud that hangs over us all the time where we want to do something but we stop ourselves and we think, oh, that's just like a filter, but it's the shame. Like when we look at it, it's like, no, we're not filtering ourselves. We're just stopping ourselves generally. Like that's a limiting belief that we've just inherited. And I think when our younger generations show that, we're so inspired by that. I'm like, oh my God, because it's the same. Like I've got like 11-year-old girls that are just like, don't give a shit. And I'm like, oh God, I would kill to be like that or like do that again. But it actually makes you feel like, oh, like I am that too. Like there's moments where I'm like, I have no shame. And then
You
days that we
just
do.
reminded me of a moment where I had shame the other day. I was at a gig, right, and I had shame for no reason at the start of the gig, just imposter syndrome, thinking, oh, why am I the person to be hosting this? Why am I in this room? The room was very Caucasian, mind you, and that brings on the shame.
Caucasian.
So I was looking around at all these white people and I was like, why am I here hosting an event like this with these really high profile people? And the shame was there. Next minute, I get on stage and there's a painting that is on stage and I knock it over. Oh. I knock it over. So it tumbles off the stage, a full ass painting. And I was like, that is the difference between, at the beginning I had shame for no reason and then there's shame for a reason after. Like,
you point,
fucking that was the most embarrassing thing I've probably ever done on stage. And that shame was granted. The shame before that was not.
That's exactly it.
Shame.
It's kind of being like able to realize that shame voice and being like, oh, I don't need you right now. Like, that thing kind of comes from our childhood and it's there to protect us, which is so good. And I'm sure that's come up in your career, in your life, when you've got out on stage and you're like, oh, like this is not good enough, and you kind of get in your head about that imposter syndrome that Maddie was saying. But it's like, I love the thought now, and I think this is one I want to teach my children too, is, that voice is there to protect you, but you don't always have to listen to it. And you can be like, hey, look, you've served me, and I know I'm hearing you, but I don't need you right now, or I will next time, or like just be quiet for a little bit of a moment, okay? And you just tell it to shush, and then you're like, okay, moving on to the next thing.
I love that.
I'm learning that. Like if you visualize that, like it's a voice and it comes in, it's like, oh my God, I'm so shit. Like, and it starts spiraling. Like stop spiraling, stop catastrophizing, being like, hey, look, just shut up for a minute. Okay, and not getting rid of it completely, because I used to think that you have to get rid of that voice completely, but the voice actually is a great protection. Like, she, he, whatever you want to put on it, like, is there to protect you. And I think when we see ourselves and our little kids, they're also going to have those voices too. And I just want to teach them, like, yes, you can listen to it, but you can choose not to listen to it and like thrive. And sometimes wish that I was a bit more extroverted too sometimes, because I feel like I would have thrived.
You mob with the same energy, by the way.
Yeah. No, I know. That's why I feel like it's like talking to a sister.
I'm
really.
the extroverted one, and you mob are the introverted ones that are extroverted behind closed doors.
I think we're both a scale, right? Like
both Capricorns.
Capricorns. She's a triple.
That's why we are.
Yeah.
But I could never do. This is the thing, Loren. Like you do what I could never do too. Like in a musician, like I could never go on stage and perform. Like.
Well, you will be
never
soon,
say never.
little actor.
Well, yeah.
I want to ask you, Loren, like this is probably a bit of a wrap-up question, but when it comes to you getting on those stages, and you've done some of the big stages now, so you've done, I think it was the Survival Day Australia Day event at the Opera House. You've done stadiums for the State of Origin.
Yeah.
It's big stages, massive people, thousands of people in the audience, even more watching through those cameras at home. Before you get on that stage, what is it that goes through your mind and how do you put it to the back to be able to execute a performance?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really passionate about performing and giving a good performance, and you're only as good as your last performance. So I try to keep the consistency there. But I just feel so comfortable with it now that I know what I have to do, and I'm prepared to the moon before I walk out on stage. But it also, like, the thing that comforts me is knowing that everyone has that little voice that Brooke was talking about, that insecurity, that imposter syndrome. And, one artist that I completely and utterly look up to, I asked them, what's your biggest insecurity? And they said back to me, I'm worried that people don't think I'm actually talented. And I couldn't fathom.
Who was that?
I couldn't. I don't want to say their name. I don't want to.
No, of course not.
I don't want to
out them.
Their insecurities.
Because we'll tell you if they are. No, I don't.
They're definitely talented. Definitely talented. And so for me, I think about all the steps that I've taken to be in this moment in time, and all of the challenges that I've overcome, being a single mum, being a broke black fella, being insecure within my body, and just growing into this person that's comfortable.
Yeah.
And able to perform, and I mean, through those performances you find the people who love you and respect you and see you for that. So that's what comforts me. That's what goes through my mind, just being the best I can be out there on stage, and connecting to
connection
to people.
It's so beautiful to see, and it's so great that you've got the talent, you've got the love for what you do, and everything else falls into place. When I saw you at the Opera House, and it felt like this massive stage that had all eyes on it, that you just got to a point in your career where you were able to really nail something like that, and that made me really proud as your friend, but also as a supporter. And I know that Charlie Girl was there, and she would be so proud of the woman that you are, and she's so lucky to have a mum who loves her so deeply and takes care of her and takes her along the journey. She gets to experience this life with you, and I think that that's like super powerful, but also testament to you as a mum. So it's beautiful to see, sis.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for coming on our podcast. It's been it's been in the works for a little while, so I'm so glad to be able to have you here today. And
great.
if you want to listen to Loren, where can the audience check you out? I know social media, but also where can they get your music?
Media, Loren Ryan Music on the socials, and Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Pick your
we'll put
player.
all of those links, I reckon, in the show notes for you
Absolutely.
guys anyways, to make it easier to get access to Loren.
I'd love for everyone to listen to Hoedown, and if you love it, let me know, and if it's shit, don't let me know.
If it's shit, send it to the hose, and if you love it, send it to the hose. All right, well, that's all we have time for today on First Things First. If you love us, leave us a little rating and a little review.
And if you want us to cover anything, let us know on the pod, reach out via our socials. My handle is at Brooke.Blurton, and Maddie's is at It's Maddie Mills, and Lauren's is at Loren Ryan Music. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
That's it. See you, Mom. Bye.